Talaga song because it's a remix, it's a very well-known song. But they are shocked. They say that, what song is that we saw? That's not Katalaga. So that's the thing. So that was sort of the reason why I made the film, and I thought that a lot of his contemporaries who worked with him were no longer there. Masroor Sultanpuri, Anand Bakshi, Mahmood, a whole lot of people who were no longer there, and some of them who we are fortunate to have here perhaps won't be there in another 5 years, 10 years, whatever. So I think it was high time that somebody should tell the story, which is such a powerful man's work and life, and doing it was not easy at all.
Yeah.
Yes, doing it was not easy at all, but that's a different story.
But you were able to get everybody to collaborate with you. I mean, they spent a lot of time talking, really.
Yes, I mean, I've recorded what we have seen here in under 2 hours is actually over 100 hours of various things. I could not put everything together just for the reason of time and space, but I think there's another very potent 1.5 hours, 2 hours of material just in terms of stories and things. But then, I mean, I can never make a film which is more than 2 hours long, so somewhere I did it.
Have you shown the film in India? Because I've heard, in fact, Vidhu Vinod Chopra's wife, Anupama Chopra, she hasn't seen the film, she was telling me, yeah.
No, she hasn't seen. I've done a few screenings in which I have invited a number of people, and some of them have come and seen, some of them have not managed to come and see, some of them have asked for DVDs and things like that. But I've not had a formal screening as such. 1 or 2 festivals which were at the right time, which could have screened it, they didn't have a provision of documentaries in it for some rigid reasons of theirs. So very surprisingly, when it is being screened in Karachi Festival, and I told them that you'll have an Asian premiere, they were shocked that how come you have not screened it in India. But that's how it is. But I will be screening it at the moment everything falls in place and things like that. But yes, there has been a huge amount of interest, a huge amount of mails, SMSs, phone calls constantly about the film, that when is it releasing, how do we see it, is it available, not, and things like that. Yeah.
Can you just tell us a little bit about your background as a filmmaker?
Well, my background, I'll relate even more to this film. My granduncle and S.D. Burman studied music together from the same guru as such. So there is some kind of an emotional bond to the family as such. A lot of music that runs in my family, I can identify what R.D. Burman does, in the sense that, I mean, a lot of places where Shankar has pointed out that, how he did that cross line, I couldn't figure out, and things like that. I know where it comes from, because a lot of the subtle things that I see is there in my family's music. I come from a musical family, and in terms of filmmaking, I have been doing documentaries and have been quite disappointed with myself in terms of doing a documentary, because you put in a lot of effort. In terms of effort, it's often much more than even feature films, and you don't get seen, noticed, distributed, etc. in the same way. But I've done films, I've done shorter films, I've won some awards, not very significant ones, but they've done very well in critically and in festivals. But they're obscure subjects, nothing very majorly popular. I think this could be called a very popular subject as well. Yes.
This should do really well on television in India, don't you think so?
Yes, looks like. I mean, it should do very well. That's what it's. I've already handed over it to Shimaru, who is looking into the rights and other things. And
for DVD.
Yeah, for DVD, satellite, international, everything, because I'm concentrating on other projects, and so I thought that it's much better to hand it over to them to look after the business and whatever.
Questions?
Sorry.
Arthur and
Yes.
Side.
R.D. Burman did some of his best work with Lata Mangeshkar.
There's no Lata Mangeshkar.
Why is it Lata Mangeshkar?
No Lata Mangeshkar in the film.
You can't have everyone. I think, well, I was a little disappointed that it's not only Lata Mangeshkar, I don't have Rajesh Khanna, I don't have Ramesh Sippy, I don't have Devanand, I have his nephew here, Ketan Anand, and I'm very glad to have him because I just discovered one thing, that Dambaradam, the pot scene that you have, he's the person who's smoking the pot. So, but yes, I don't have Dev Saab, I don't have Rajesh Khanna, I don't have Ramesh Sippy, I don't have Lata Mangeshkar. These are the 4 or 5 names I would have loved to have, but it's not, I can assure you, it's not without my having pursued endlessly and things didn't work out. But I'm glad that, 96% of people who I actually approached are there in the film. I mean, these are exceptions for some reason or the other. But it wasn't easy getting even these people out there, yes. But they're all very busy people, and it's not because of lack of intent that it gets delayed and you have to make phone calls and meet them and fix up and cancel and all those things happen. But when I was disappointed that how come you don't have Lata Mangeshkar and a couple of other people, there were 2-3 people who finally made me see the other side. He said that you have a fantastic strike rate. If you have so many people who you approached, it speaks very highly of your credibility and your approach and your everything, rather than the few people that you have missed out on.
And also you have Gulzar speaking on a lot of the songs which Lata Mangeshkar sang.
Yeah, that's right.
So
absolutely.
you get the Gulzar perspective.
That's right. Yeah, that is another thing, that I mean, someone or the other, because it's a collaborative thing, and always 4-5 people, whether music director or the lead male singer, lead female. I don't have Kishore Kumar, but I mean I have Amit Kumar say a few things about him. So it's just like that. I don't have Ramesh Behal. They are no longer there, but then I have his family, recalling a few things. So just like that. So I think overall, you're right. That somewhere or the other you get the perspective, and most of it got covered. I had to leave out quite a few aspects because, again, of time reasons. That I mean, my first lineup was 4 hours 45 minutes. So from there we went on slashing, and finally the way it evolved. But what made me most satisfied with the whole thing, that I did not want a narration. I did not want a voiceover narration to push the story forward. And the entire narrative was created, like people sometimes point out, that it looks almost like it's been scripted. And that is a very hardly done thing. I mean, it's a very, very effortful thing.